Because I actually think there's a little bit going on out there at the moment that's causing everyone to shut down. And it's not that there's nothing going on, it's they're not telling us. I think there's a whole lot of stuff. And I actually would love to do, I did do an analysis on the Gartner hype cycle back in 2016. You can read it in the conversation. I wrote a piece called Don't Blame Bitcoin for the Madness of Men. And I did quite a strict analysis of this cycle and what causes speculative bubbles. But I think there's more work needs to be done with what happens with that trough of disillusionment, because if you look at the hype cycle, the next stage is the plateau of productivity. And I think that comes about because there's a little moment while everyone knows we've got it, don't tell anyone. So it looks like everything's going to be quiet. Now, I know of a whole lot of projects right now that I can't talk about, and that's why I'm pretty sure it's part of the story. There's some really interesting projects about to kick off. The Australian National Blockchain was launched without us knowing. I didn't know. That came as a surprise to me. They stayed very quiet when that was announced in August, even though we know the actors very well who put that together. So I think that's part of the story of where we are right now, to answer your question. I think also there's a couple of places around the world. Malta, I think, is a really good example of this, where putting regulation in to give it a crack has suddenly become something that needs to happen. I think Brexit has a bit to do with that. So, for example, in Malta, Malta is the staging post for a very large Indian pharmaceutical company that wants to use Malta as the channel to send the pharmaceuticals into Europe. And, of course, the Brits would love to get a hold of it first so it could go via Britain. I think Brexit's going to have a lot to do with blockchain as well. There's a lot happening in London with various organisations who are trying to see if they can leverage blockchain to make Brexit something that will just add to their armoury in some way. So I think that's where I'm up to at the moment. That's what I would say I'm observing.